Spectrum.
Good morning and thanks for joining us live here on News 13. Time right now is 6 a.m. I'm David Bowden. Hurricane Irma, of course, is our top story. With several evacuations in place, let's send things over to our weather center where we have team coverage for you this morning with weather experts Jamie Martin and Maureen McCann. Good morning to you both. And I just heard a lot of alerts going off just a short time ago.
Yeah, everybody's phones did. A lot of people being woken up for hurricane warnings that are now in effect across a big chunk of central Florida, waiting on that map to update. But it does include the metro area.
Yeah, and with Irma as a Category 4 storm, it strengthened overnight to Category 5. So if you're just waking up, it's a very dangerous Category 4. Winds of 155 miles per hour, Jamie. It only takes 157 to be a Cat 5, so it's almost there.
Yeah, it's almost there. Whether it's a strong 4 or a weak 5, if you want to call it a weak 5, it's still going to do the same damage. It's moving to the west-northwest now. Unfortunately, it was moving west earlier, but taking a little bit of a jog to the north at 12 miles per hour. We want to keep that westward movement going and get it farther away from central Florida, but unfortunately it does look like it may make that turn as we head through the next 24 hours and as it makes its way in towards central Florida and west central Florida.
Yeah, so this is the forecast track, and it's been shifting west the last 24 to 36 hours with each model run, with the core of the strongest winds impacting the Keys, impacting those vulnerable areas of southwest Florida, so prone to storm surge flooding, especially with the right side of the storm, Jamie, the flow coming around it plus the forward motion of it. That puts all of central Florida and the Gulf Coast over to the East Coast on that right side, so we need to prepare for those impacts and kind of running out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a lot of rain showers out there across central Florida right now. Of course, we'll have the very latest with a live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar coming up at 11 after.
All right, thanks, you guys. Orlando International Airport will cease operations tonight at 5 p.m. This morning, we're learning people that are already scrambling to buy plane tickets are waiting in long lines. News 13's Christina Jensen is live at the airport. And Christina, we understand the airport is on high alert.
Yeah, it is on high alert, and it's also extremely busy. We're seeing very long lines. Officials are now saying that you should arrive 4 hours early to catch your flight. And on top of the long security lines we're also seeing long lines just to check in. This is the JetBlue check-in ticket line counter, and there were long lines at one point, a 40 to 45 minute wait, and the line stretches next to the next ticket counter. And it's going to take about them an hour just to check in, and then they have to go through security, which we are told is about a 30-minute wait. Now, officials at the airport, they're going to suspend flights starting at 5 o'clock tonight, and that's the same time the parking garages will close. And this airport saw more than 40 cancellations yesterday. Some travelers have been stranded here for days.
We're trying to get to San Diego. That's where we live. And we've been delayed a little bit on our flight because of Irma.
Just shows. And back out here at OAA, we do want to mention there are a few delays and cancellations, so you should check your flight to make sure that it is on time and, of course, arrive early. For now, reporting live in Orlando, Christina Jensen, News 13.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers shut down Port Canaveral. All vessel traffic was closed at 3 p.m. yesterday and will remain closed until further notice. Normal business hours will resume as soon as an assessment is made showing that it's safe to reopen. And mandatory evacuation orders are still in effect for much of Brevard County. Residents are being asked to leave the barrier islands, Merritt Island, and some mainland low-lying areas. News 13's Jerry Hume is live at one of those evacuation shelters that's set up in Cocoa. And Jerry, there's been a lot of people evacuated already.
Yes, David, by last check, more than 140 people stayed at this shelter here at the Walter Butler Community Center. This is where people come in to register and get signed up to stay here. There are 16 evacuation centers in Brevard County. The order to evacuate the barrier islands took effect at 3 yesterday afternoon. We saw plenty of people boarding up their homes and businesses on Friday. Even though the track of Irma has shifted west, the Brevard County Emergency Management Office says the Space Coast should still brace for impacts, including damaging winds, heavy downpours, and storm surge. Last time this portion of the Space Coast was ordered to evacuate was Hurricane Matthew nearly a year ago.
leaving this year. So I stayed in Merritt Island, which is just across the river, and this year going a little further inland.
Cocoa Beach's Cape Canaveral Hospital is also evacuating patients. More than 40 patients are being transported to Health First's 3 other Brevard County hospitals. There's lots of questions about will the causeways close, the main thoroughfare between the mainland and the barrier islands. The answer is no, they will not close before and during the storm, but after Irma makes its way past Brevard County, FDOT may have to close the causeways to inspect them. That's the latest live this morning here in Cocoa, Brevard County. Jerry Hume, News 13.
Hospitals throughout Central Florida are also bracing for Irma. In Volusia County, Florida Hospital Oceanside is evacuating 31 patients to a Daytona Beach facility. Florida Hospital in New Smyrna is evacuating close to 50 patients to Florida hospitals in DeLand and Orange City. Now in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, Florida hospital facilities are preparing and arranging for full staff throughout the storm. All non-emergency procedures have been canceled until Monday. Volusia County is prepping for Irma's arrival. The county has already decided to put a curfew in place starting tomorrow. News 13's Scott Feist is in Daytona Beach and joining us this morning. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, David. We are already seeing not effects from Irma, but those showers that severe weather experts were talking about earlier. Marine said that there's going to be some scattered showers, and yeah, we're seeing some of those here in Daytona Beach. We're also seeing preparations already underway along Interstate 4 on the drive up here to Daytona Beach in Seminole County and Volusia County this morning. A lot of the billboards are now missing. Work crews have slashed those canvas-like advertisements. They've wrapped them up, and only the skeletal structure of the billboard remains. That's because imagine the billboard to be a lot like a sailboat sail. With all of this wind that we're anticipating tomorrow, that billboard could become airborne and then land on I-4, and emergency vehicles couldn't get through. Here at the Volusia County Emergency Operations Center, they are going to begin monitoring Irma at 8 o'clock this morning. That's when the full operation will begin. However, they're not taking any chances here. Already the Volusia County Sheriff's Office saying there will be a curfew in effect starting tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That curfew is for everybody. They want folks to ride out the storm in place. They want the roads to be open so emergency vehicles can get through, and they're also hoping to prevent any burglaries or robberies. A lot of times in a storm situation like this, you'll hear effects to looting. Well, they don't want any looting going on here. Therefore, if they find you out in the streets, on the roads, after 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, chances are they will stop you, and they do have the ability to arrest. Right now, though, we're still seeing some showers here this morning in Volusia County, and we're going to continue to keep our eye on Irma and also what's going on inside the EOC. David, back to you.
All right, News 13's Scott Feist live from Daytona Beach for us this morning. Thank you, Scott. As Hurricane Irma approaches South Florida, residents are running out of time to evacuate. News 13's Jason Lanning is down at Hollywood Beach. And Jason, what are you seeing down there right now?
Well, what a difference a day makes. Yesterday, the folks here in Hollywood Beach and across the entire Miami area, David, were preparing for possibly a very destructive hit by Hurricane Irma. This morning, when they see the new track, they might breathe a little bit of sigh of relief. The weather will still be rough here. You can see on the Hollywood Beach boardwalk, folks still boarded up, still sandbagged. In the event we see some surge, and the winds are starting to pick up as well. In fact, tropical storm force winds will likely move into southern Florida here on the southeast coast later on this afternoon. Of course, how powerful Irma may be here in this area, still a big question mark. We do know that emergency managers here across extreme southern Florida are preparing for damage. They are preparing for flooding from torrential rains, and they are preparing for power outages. In fact, a little bit earlier this morning, Miami was already reporting some sporadic power outages thanks to some of the extreme outer bands of Irma that quickly pushed through. Here in Hollywood Beach, we haven't even seen any rain yet, but of course, everyone here that is deciding to ride this storm out is bracing. They are hoping this storm stays further off to the west for their sake, but of course, the further west it goes, the worse news this all becomes for the west coast of Florida. David?
All right, Jason Lanning, thank you very much. Charter Communications is working to help Floridians stay connected with their loved ones and any emergency services during the storm. All Spectrum Wi-Fi hotspots across the state are open to assist those being impacted by Hurricane Irma. Now, you'll also be able to watch a live stream of News 13 during our hurricane coverage. You can head over to our website to find a link for the live stream and from your computer or your mobile device. Spectrum is the parent company of News 13. President Donald Trump signed an emergency declaration for the Seminole Tribe of Florida. FEMA announced the federal emergency aid is to supplement the tribe's response efforts. The agency is authorized to identify, mobilize, and provide equipment and resources necessary to alleviate any impacts of Hurricane Irma. And your time right now coming up on 6:11, and that means it's time to head back over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Jamie Martin is joining us now live. And Jamie, what's the latest on Irma?
Yeah, unfortunately, Irma is still packing quite a punch out there, moving along the northern coast of Cuba at the present time. Winds have diminished to only 5 miles per hour, but it did drop from 160 to 155. A very powerful and dangerous hurricane as it continues to churn its way off towards the west northwest now at about 12 miles per hour. So again, it has shifted a little bit in its track over the last couple of hours. You can kind of see that movement that we've been seeing, moving off towards the west and northwest now, right along the beach itself in the northern parts there of Cuba. Moving, probably going to switch a little bit more to the west-northwest as we continue our way through the next hour or so. Now, the sooner it turns, the worse it is for Central Florida, so we can keep it moving right along the coast here until it gets out towards the Gulf and Key West, the better it is for us here in Central Florida. But we're still going to feel the impacts as the storm moves its way through. In fact, here's a look at the forecast track, keeping it a pretty powerful Category 4 hurricane as it heads its way over towards Fort Myers during the afternoon here on Sunday. By Monday morning, that's going to be the big ticker for us here in Central Florida. So it's going to be very late Sunday night, the timing, Sunday night through Monday morning. That's going to be the worst of the weather, not only here in Central Florida, but also over towards Tampa Bay as it pushes its way off towards the north. And again, this could shift over to the east once again, putting it right over downtown Orlando as we head in towards the overnight hours of Monday morning. But again, right now the track has it just off to the west of us, but that means we're on the east side, and that's those very strong winds as everything rotates counterclockwise around the storm itself. So this is where we'll see the best chance also of isolated tornadoes. So even if it doesn't make a direct path right over Central Florida, we are definitely going to feel the effects over the next couple of days. Warnings right now, hurricane warnings extending all the way through Volusia County, Lake County, Sumter County, all the way southward. Only folks not under it yet, that's going to be Flagler County and also over towards Marion County. They have watches right now, but more than likely within the next 6 hours or so, they're also going to be included in that warning area. So although they have watches now, I'm warning you right now, you are going to be under hurricane warnings by later on today. Here's a look at Hurricane Irma, again, making landfall somewhere in southwest Florida on Sunday morning. It's going to impact the entire peninsula here as it moves its way northward. Some of the strongest winds late Sunday night and into Monday morning. That's when you really have to be ready for it. And don't forget, you got to download Spectrum TV and the News 13 Plus app, because more than likely a lot of folks are going to be losing power as those strong winds move through. You can keep track of what's going on right there on your mobile devices. Here's a look at the satellite and the radar combined. You can see the actual center of circulation well to the south of Miami right now, but already beginning to pick up some of those feeder bands in Miami. For us, though, we're already picking up some scattered showers and thunderstorms right here in Central Florida. In fact, here's a live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar. As you can see, we're picking up some pockets of heavy rain back out through parts of northern Brevard County and southern parts of Volusia County. So again, we've got lots of problems out there, not only today, but heading into the next couple of days. We'll keep you updated on Irma throughout the day. Right now, we'll keep looking at a live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar.
Osceola leaders are discussing a curfew for the county, but haven't yet put one in place. We'll tell you what shelters are open while officials decide what to do.
Love it. Faster warnings, accurate forecasts. Storm Tracker 13, part of the largest Doppler radar network in the Southeast. Only on News 13, exclusively on Spectrum. This hurricane season, you've got a powerhouse in your corner. Storm Tracker 13.
These storms popping up fast, moving even faster.
Only News 13 has Storm Tracker 13. Always tracking storms, giving you minute-by-minute information.
Going to be off the coast by 3 a.m.
Delivering technology that gives you time to prepare and keeps you safe.
You definitely want to take precautions.
Storm Tracker 13, the most powerful name this hurricane season, is on News 13, exclusively on Spectrum.
Last weekend's Labor Day sale at Hudson's Furniture was so big, we're holding it over for one final week. Through Monday, get markdowns store-wide during our best sale of the year. Living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, and more. Take an extra 20% off famous manufacturers with no interest for up to 3 years for even greater buying power. And get free delivery. That's 4 big offers, 4 ways to save. But this is the final week at all 17 Hudson's locations.
My name is Richie Kidwell, president of Air Quality Assessors of Florida. Do you know what's lurking behind your walls?
Whether you're dealing with a sewer backup, roof leak, visible signs of mold, or a pipe burst, the professionals at Air Quality Assessors offer indoor air quality testing and consultation services throughout Florida. We can bill direct to your insurance provider with no out-of-pocket expense to you. Water damage or mold? Call Air Quality Assessors today. We offer competitive rates and can bill direct to your insurance provider.
At the Trial Professionals, our job is to make everything as easy as possible for our clients and to protect them and their families with every ounce of our being.
The aggravation of the medical bills and being out of work and everything, they made everything smooth.
They called every provider. They negotiated the bills even. Like I don't even think I paid a full amount on any of the bills.
If you've been injured in a car accident or at work or anywhere else, let us start protecting you right now. Call 1-800-TRIAL-PRO.
Spotting jams with more traffic cams. Your real-time traffic every 10 minutes all morning long on News 13, exclusively on Spectrum. Florida Lottery is brought to you by 1-800-TRIAL-PRO. Don't just hire an attorney, hire a trial professional.
At the moment, Osceola County has no curfew, but it's something that officials are considering. 3 shelters opened on Friday in the county at Celebration High, Horizon Middle, and Narcoossee Middle. Now, 3 more will be opening today. With the influx of evacuees from South Florida, Osceola expects to be at capacity. In total, their shelters are prepared to take in 3,000 people. Now, if the sheriff says the doors of the shelters will be open to everyone, even if they're undocumented.
Whether you're an illegal citizen or whether you're a citizen, it doesn't matter. It's all part of being a human in this race that we're running. I care for my fellow citizens. Nobody's going to be turned away.
The county is also helping with sandbag efforts. More than 150,000 bags were given out Wednesday and Thursday. With little time left before the storm hits, you need to make sure that you're prepared now. And we have a supply checklist at mynews13.com/hurricane. There you can also check out any hurricane myths and track the tropics with our interactive map.
Hurricane Irma continues to move into parts of Cuba at the present time. We'll have the very latest on the coordinates and the strength coming up with your weather on the ones.
Spotting.
Did you know your body has about 6 quarts of blood, which circulates through the body 3 times every minute?
For more interesting facts from the Bonati Spine Institute, turn to channel 973 or visit Bonati.com.
Thank you guys for both coming in. Such short notice.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
So we had art today. Caitlin drew this.
Oh,
wow, this is great. I love the little sticky things.
Oh, no, I put those there just to cover the...
Oh, wow, that's some rough language there.
Some of the combinations are...
Yeah. Really? We don't talk like this at home.
It's called Daddy and DirecTV.
I would never say any of these words out loud. I wouldn't. I mean, I think it, but it's an artistic expression.
Good to know.
Even though DirecTV now says they're $10 a month, it's not. You can't get it without their wireless plan, so it's 10 times more than they say. And there's no NFL network, and there's still
I just can't have this on the wall.
No,
Obviously.
Of course not. It's artistically, though, it's very good.
Sure.
Misleading offers are evil.
I love that sweater.
Spectrum doesn't have them. DirecTV bad. Spectrum good.
News 13 is the only 24-hour news station in Central Florida. So when you want your news and weather, only News 13 delivers now, exclusively on Spectrum.
Many personal injury attorneys have little or no real trial experience, and the insurance companies know who they are. Is this the kind of attorney you want handling your case after a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? I'm Todd Miner, and I used to be an attorney for the largest auto insurance company in the country. If you would like a free, honest, and accurate evaluation of your case, call me today or go to toddminerlaw.com. And remember, everything I learned on their side, I bring to your side.
When you're on the go, watch News 13 anywhere with the Spectrum TV app. Download now and watch News 13 instantly on your device.
World-renowned Dr. Bonatti created the Bonatti Spine procedures to minimize surgery, scarring, and recovery. 55,000 procedures have resulted in 98.75% satisfaction. Over half our patients suffer from failed surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Here at 6:21, meteorologist Maureen McCann alongside Jamie Martin. We've got team coverage. We're watching Irma, and already some of those bands, the outer bands, are moving into the Keys, and we have our own rain locally that's coming with the onshore flow.
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, if you haven't made those preparations yet, today is the day you have to do it, and you're going to be out there, and you're probably going to get rained on if you're going to be doing those.
Yeah, we're looking at our PTZ cam in Key West. This is Key West Harbor, and our radar site that is located in Pinellas County has a pretty wide radius, so that is already showing some of that rain. But locally, you are waking up to some rain over in Volusia and Brevard counties. You can go in for a closer view of that on Storm Tracker 13. This is not directly with Irma, but with low pressure to the south, high pressure to the north. We're getting that onshore flow in between. These are the squalls that could impact you today as you make those final preparations, which we really want you to do before 5 p.m. today. So Scottsmore, Titusville, Mims getting heavy rain within this frame of view, some lightning. Meanwhile, focusing on Irma, Category 4 storm brushing the barrier islands of northern Cuba, projected to stay on the west-northwesterly course now. It did move a little bit westerly during the overnight hours, and it was over favorable waters for it to strengthen briefly to a Category 5. Remember, we're talking about a very large storm in size from those outer bands from one side to another, though the latest imagery showing some weakening because of the interaction with land. 450 miles compared to over 100 miles at Florida. So this storm has such a large wind field, and the impacts are going to spread so far from the center, which is why we want you to be prepared. So the latest track brings it to the west-northwest. Yes, the cone has shifted a little more to the west, but we can't stress that the impacts will extend from the center. This does bring it up the west coast or near the Gulf Coast over the Tampa Bay area as a Category 3 by Monday morning. So that would make the biggest impacts for us being late Sunday into early Monday. It may strengthen again because it's moving over very warm waters that are in the upper 80s even. So that storm surge is going to be the biggest hazard already near the center of low pressure. Wave heights over 20 feet. Storm surge is really going to be a risk on the west coast of Florida. That's the inundation of rising water where it typically is dry. You can see how the contours really light up along the southwestern coast. We need to be prepared for this locally, though, even along the Brevard and Flagler County coast and over by Cedar Key as well. So, Jamie, so many different hazards with hurricanes that we need to be mindful of, including the rain that we're experiencing this morning.
Yeah, absolutely, Maureen. Right now, we're going to take a look here at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar. Again, some pockets of very heavy rain across the area. Now, here's what you can expect as we go county by county here. If you're up towards Marion Lake, over towards Sumter County, again, up to 5 to 8 inches. Locally heavier amounts, especially in our western counties, possible. And as all that moisture moves in off the Atlantic, we're going to see some impacts there from the flooding concerns. Also looking at winds very gusty, up to hurricane strength possible here around parts of Seminole County, Longwood, Oviedo, over towards Sanford, up to 75 to 85 mile per hour winds. Looks like the worst of the winds should stay to our west, but again, this could easily shift a little bit more to the east. As you can see, same situation over towards Orange County and also Osceola County. We're looking at 5 to 8 inches of rain. And again, isolated tornadoes are not out of the question as we head towards the evening coming up on Sunday and early on Monday as the actual system, Irma, moves its way in towards central Florida. So we are talking about a good chance of showers and storms, not only today, but a much better chance on Sunday and Monday. Again, conditions really deteriorating throughout Sunday and into Sunday night and early Monday. So unfortunately, it looks like some of the worst weather's going to come in during the overnight hours when folks are normally sleeping. I don't think a lot of people are going to be sleeping coming up around central Florida.
And that's why you don't want to be traveling. You want to get to where you need to be today. If you are going to evacuate, if you have been given evacuation orders, you don't want to be doing that tomorrow. Definitely not tomorrow afternoon, evening.
Absolutely not. Make sure everything is charged up. Make sure you have that News 13 Plus app handy because we'll be updating you. If you lose power, that's how you're going to be able to stay in touch. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the weekend right here with the weather on the ones. Right now, a live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar.
Traffic wasn't as bad as expected on Friday night. One good thing for drivers heading north is that Governor Rick Scott directed FDOT to suspend tolls across the entire state of Florida in preparation for Hurricane Irma. He said they will remain suspended for the duration of the storm's impact here. And if you're wondering why they aren't opening up southbound lanes like they did leading up to Matthew, that's because the southbound lanes are needed to bring supplies to shelters and to people in the southern part of the state. Now, FHP has implemented a limited emergency shoulder use plan for Hurricane Irma evacuations. That's on I-75 at Wildwood to the Georgia state line. Drivers should only use the left shoulder when directed by law enforcement and/or highway signage. No other state roadways are currently approved for shoulder use, just I-75 at Wildwood to the Georgia state line. Now, you can check real-time traffic conditions with the News 13 Plus app. But in all of this, use caution and patience. It will be slow-moving at times. Local animal shelters are urging people who are evacuating to not abandon their pets at home and instead find local pet-friendly shelters. For Suzanne Montgomery and her family, when they decided to evacuate Jacksonville, there was no question that their poodle, Carly, was coming along.
In a worst case scenario, we would definitely go to a pet-friendly shelter. We want to be safe and we want her to be safe, so we're not anti-shelter.
Throughout the storm, Orange County Animal Services will be accepting stray animals. If you're planning on evacuating but don't want to bring your pet, they say that they will take in owner-surrendered pets. However, they want to make something very clear. Once your pet is surrendered, there is no guarantee that you will get your pet back. Charter Communications is working to help Floridians stay connected with their loved ones and any emergency services during the storm. All Spectrum Wi-Fi hotspots across the state are open to assist those being impacted by Hurricane Irma. Now, you'll be able to watch a live stream of News 13 during our hurricane coverage. You can head over to our website to find a link for your stream and also for your computer and mobile device. Spectrum is the parent company of News 13.
Faster warnings.
Natural gas helps you create the perfect meal for entertaining someone special the very first time. People's Gas. We're delivering the natural gas that helps you save energy at home. Learn about our energy conservation rebates at peoplesgas.com/home.
This hurricane season, you've got a powerhouse in your corner. Storm Tracker 13, the most powerful name this hurricane season, exclusively on Spectrum.
You know, having a baby and having a 3-year-old, we're hoping to get a little guidance so we can save for our house. Working with somebody at the bank is going to be different. So Maurice was great with going over our everyday finances. He definitely helped me see how we can save and pay off our debt at the same time and why we would want to do that. I'm so ready to take our next step.
Ready to move your life forward? Visit regions.com/nextstep.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented the precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 55,000 procedures have been performed exclusively at our 2 locations. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
My wife was working as a deputy sheriff when she was run over by a reckless driver. As a result of the accident, she sustained a serious brain injury. There was only one lawyer I considered to help my wife's future, attorney Dan Newland. Dan and his lawyers were there when we needed them the most. And they got my wife a settlement that will help her the rest of her life, and we are very grateful.
Involved in a car or motorcycle accident? Call me now, Saturday or Sunday at 407-888-8000. That's 407-888-8000.
Get weather updates, the latest forecasts, and some spectacular views. Follow the weather experts on Twitter at MyNews13Weather.
Natural gas helps you create the perfect meal for entertaining friends you've known a lifetime. People's Gas. We're delivering the natural gas that helps you save energy at home. Learn about our energy conservation rebates at peoplesgas.com/home.
Live at 6:30, Miami Beach is bracing for Hurricane Irma. What's being done as the storm inches closer to Florida. And a number of theme parks closing their gates this weekend. The latest attraction news from around Central Florida and when they're looking to be reopened. Plus, a handful of Marion County schools are turning into shelters. How many people these locations can hold? Straight ahead.
From News 13, the morning's first news and weather together. This is your weekend morning news weather now.
Good Saturday morning. I'm David Bowden. We're going to head straight out to Miami and our own Jason Lanning. Jason.
Here we go. The winds are starting to pick up now here on the southeast coast of Florida. We are on Hollywood Beach. Behind us, it's fairly dark, but you can barely make out some of the white caps, some of the rougher surf back there. Hurricane Irma is still about 260 miles out, but the Miami area, just about 20 minutes to our south, has already seen some of those extreme outer bands that are breaking up, push through the area. They have had some rather gusty winds and actually some sporadic power outages reported. If we move over here onto the boardwalk of Hollywood Beach, you can see businesses well prepared here. They've got sandbags out to block any surge from getting under doors, as well as some heavy sheets of plywood. Obviously, folks here, though, for the past 4 to 5 days have been bracing based on the track of Irma for a possibly destructive hurricane. But this morning, the folks that have chosen to stay to ride this storm out may be waking up and breathing a bit of a sigh of relief. Of course, the good news here is if Irma stays well to the west of the Miami Metroplex, the damage will be cut down substantially from Irma. But of course, as it moves west, it becomes very bad news for the west coast of Florida. So that's what we're watching now as Irma continues to spin closer here. Tropical storm force winds expected to move in here along Florida's southeast coast later on this afternoon. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Jason. Right now, let's see the impact Irma could have on Central Florida. We have a pair of meteorologists over in the Weather Center right now, meteorologist Maureen McCann and Jamie Martin. And guys, what are you seeing out there right now?
Yeah, right now, David, we're actually already seeing some showers coming in across the area. In fact, some pockets of heavy rain coming in with that flow off of the Atlantic. So unfortunately, if you're going to be heading out, getting preparations done, it looks like some people are going to get an awful lot of wet conditions.
Yeah, and this is just the start of it, because we're going to see rain bands increase as Irma makes that track to the west-northwest and eventually to the north.
Yeah, unfortunately, wind's still 155 miles per hour. It's dropped only 5 miles per hour over the last update. So again, very powerful hurricane out there, just hugging the northern coast there of Cuba. The farther it goes west, the better it is for Central Florida, but it is expected to take a turn to the north over the next 12 to 16 hours. And that would bring it awfully close here towards Central Florida. So again, we're going to have to watch this one very carefully. There's the eye itself, as you can see, kind of was making its way straight west and now jogging to the west-northwest. Here's the official forecast track as we head through the next couple of days. It's a Category 4 just off of Fort Myers and Naples as we head towards Sunday afternoon. So here's our time frame for the worst of the weather. It's going to be evening hours and into the overnight into Monday morning. That's when the center of circulation right now is forecast to be over Tampa Bay, but it's such a large storm, we could definitely see some problems here, also in central Florida.
And that's why we have hurricane warnings in effect. Perhaps your phone alerted you of this if you have News 13 Plus, because the core of hurricane force winds, pretty good likelihood that those are going to spread across central Florida, especially the western side of the peninsula, closer to the core, that eye wall. That is going to be timed out for Sunday through early Monday morning. By 5 p.m. Monday, a lot of the impacts will start to shift north, but this is going to be a pretty good duration of time that we expect at least tropical storm force winds.
Yeah, so be prepared. We'll keep you updated, of course, throughout the day right here with the weather on the ones.
Thank you so much, guys. Travelers are now piling into the airports, ready to get out of Florida before the flights stop. Tonight, Orlando International Airport will cease operations starting at 5 p.m. Airport officials are encouraging travelers to check with their airlines for information about their flights. Now, some travelers say that by the airport's decision to shut down operations today, it's actually helping them get out faster.
We would have been stuck here till, I think it was Tuesday. So we were happy to go a day earlier rather than waiting around for 3-4 days.
Officials at OIA say that you should arrive at the airport at least 2 hours before a domestic flight and 3 hours before an international trip. Now, as for Orlando Sanford International Airport, they expect their last commercial flight to leave at 5:15 tonight. Theme park goers, listen up. Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, they're all going to be closing their doors as Hurricane Irma inches closer to central Florida. SeaWorld Orlando will close starting tonight at 5 p.m. and stay closed through Monday. Aquatica Orlando will also be closed today through Monday, and Discovery Cove locks its gates Sunday and Monday. Legoland will also close today and be closed throughout Monday, but Legoland Hotel will stay open, allowing guests to arrive to check in. Now, as for Universal Orlando, the park will close at 7 o'clock tonight and won't open again until Tuesday. That means the Rock the Universe Christian Music Festival that was scheduled for today, well, that's going to be canceled. And all Disney parks, including Disney Springs, are closing early tonight and will reopen on Tuesday. For updates on theme park closures and their storm policies, just click on the top story on our Attractions Insider page, and that's at mynews13.com/Attraction Insider. Even with the track of Hurricane Irma shifting to the west, mandatory evacuations are still in effect for much of Brevard County today. Residents are being asked to leave the barrier islands, Merritt Island, and some mainland low-lying areas. News 13's Jerry Hume is joining us live from the Walter Butler Community Center in Cocoa. And Jerry, that's one of the evacuation shelters. What are you seeing over there?
Well, David, yeah, those 16 evacuation shelters, general population and pet-friendly shelters. People starting to wake up here after spending the night here. We've learned that 140 people stayed here, and they expect that number to double by tomorrow as Hurricane Irma arrives in central Florida. This is where people would go to register and sign up to stay at this shelter. Plenty of people were boarding up their homes and businesses on Friday before the evacuation order took effect. Even though the track of Irma has shifted west, the Brevard County Emergency Management Office says the Space Coast should still brace for impacts, including damaging winds, heavy downpours, and storm surge. That's why they've ordered the evacuation for the barrier islands. Still, some say they're staying put.
We're going to leave, but we have, 2 dogs, kids, and most hotels are booked, and most of the people that are close enough we could stay with are also in Florida, as you know. There's really no super safe place.
Cocoa Beach's Cape Canaveral Hospital is also evacuating patients. More than 40 patients are being transported to Health First's 3 other Brevard County hospitals. Now, last night, Brevard Public Schools and Food and Nutrition Services served more than 1,100 dinners to residents in shelters, and there are 4 of those 16 evacuation shelters are pet-friendly, and we've learned so far from emergency management they contain cats, dogs, birds, rabbits, snakes, an iguana, guinea pigs, and hamsters. That's the latest live in Cocoa, Brevard County. Jerry Hume, News 13.
All right, thanks, Jerry. The Flagler Beach Pier is now closed until further notice because of Hurricane Irma. Businesses and residents are boarding up buildings and homes, hoping that the pier will survive the storm. Now, people stopped by the pier on Friday to take a look before the storm with the same concerns that they had during Hurricane Matthew last year. Roughly $900,000 in temporary repairs were just completed at the end of June.
We're definitely all hoping for no damage. That would be like best case scenario, but it's hard to say that now with watching the weather. It's hard to say that there will be nothing that happens. So yeah, but definitely hoping for the best.
The city is still working with FEMA on a permanent plan for the pier, which will cost several $1 million to replace. 10 schools have become shelters in Marion County. Before they opened Friday, the Florida Department of Health set up a special needs section at the shelter at Bellevue Middle School. Now, officials say that they can take in 1,600 people, and if they get too full, school officials will also open Bellevue High School. Now, for some in Marion County, there's still a debate if they should go or seek shelter closer to home.
We don't know if we want to go north and get stuck in the traffic and then get stuck in the traffic coming back, possibly run out of gas. There's a whole bunch of maybes.
For more information on the Marion County Public Schools that will serve as shelters, call the Citizens Information Line at 352-369-7500. And your time right now is 6:40. And that means it's time to head back over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Jamie Martin joins us now live. And Jamie, what's the latest on Irma? We've seen that track shift back and forth. Where is she at now?
Yeah, right now the shift is still a little bit to the west here, right along the west coast here of Central Florida. That could easily change over the next 24 to 36 hours. The storm itself is still down near Cuba, so it has lots of time to shift its path as it continues through the rest of this weekend. Let's get and talk about our local weather first, then we'll get into Irma, because I do want to show you that, yeah, we've got some showers. We have some thunderstorms out there coming in off of the Atlantic right now, mainly over towards here around Volusia County, Daytona Beach, all the way back here towards Seminole County, picking up some pockets of somewhat heavier rain from time to time. Again, it's all going to be pushing its way off of the Atlantic and heading its way off towards the southwest. So we're going to put a track on this. You can see a little pocket of heavy rain just off to the southwest of downtown Sanford, heading its way here towards the metro area, heading its way to Snow Hill 641, Truck Corner at 654, and to Lake Charm at 659, Oviedo at about 701. So we're looking at some pockets of heavy rain already, and this is just beginning. This is going to get a lot heavier, and the winds are definitely going to pick up as we head through the next couple of days. Let's go and give you the particulars on Hurricane Irma. 22.5 north, 78.8 west, winds of 155 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour at the present time. So again, it shifted a little bit more to the west-northwest. In fact, it's in motion right now. You'll be able to see it was generally moving due west, and then it kind of hit the northern parts here of Cuba. And that's when it started to shift a little bit more towards the west-northwest. Now, again, if it could just keep following that all the way up to about here and then turn north, we would be okay here in Central Florida. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. It does look like that ridge is going to pick it up, and it's going to start pushing it up towards Naples and Fort Myers as we head towards Sunday afternoon around 2 p.m. as a Category 4 hurricane. So very dangerous conditions around southwest Florida. In fact, all of Florida still has the opportunity, unfortunately, to get in on that cone here of uncertainty as we head towards Monday morning. So Sunday night, Monday morning, right now, it's heading beeline here towards Tampa Bay, but that could easily shift a little bit more to the east. But even if it doesn't, we are close enough here in Central Florida that we're going to see some of the worst activity on the east side of it, and that does include possibility of isolated tornadoes. Everything accelerates pretty quickly, though, and moves out as we get in towards Tuesday morning. So again, Sunday night into Monday morning will be the worst of the weather here in Central Florida. We do have hurricane warnings in effect for all of Central Florida except for Marion and also Flagler County. Sumter County, yeah, you're under the warning right now. The watches continue north of us, but there'll be warnings soon enough across the rest of Central Florida. So again, we're going to be watching for Irma to make landfall somewhere around southwest Florida or South Florida coming up on Sunday morning. And then as we head towards the rest of the day, we'll see the impact across the entire peninsula. Strongest winds Sunday night and Monday morning. Don't forget to download Spectrum TV News, your News 13 Plus app. Make sure all of your mobile devices are charged up and you do have those alerts on, because you will be wanting to be alerted, especially during the overnight hours if you do lose power where you are. So again, we're expecting to lose power across a big chunk of Central Florida. And very heavy rain, up to 6 to 8 inches on average. Could see over a foot in some locations. So lots of problems ahead. We'll keep you updated on that. Right now, another live look at Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar.
Many Florida teams canceled their college football games for this weekend because of Hurricane Irma. Coming up, find out when the UCF Knights plan to return to their home field.
You're watching Central Florida's only 24-hour news channel, News 13. News weather now, exclusively on Spectrum. Get weather update.
Did you know your body has about 6 quarts of blood, which circulates through the body 3 times every minute?
For more interesting facts from the Bonati Spine Institute, turn to Channel 973 or visit Bonati.com.
At Spectrum Business, we know you have to move fast if you want to be the best. But your business can only move as fast as your internet. That's why we're taking our internet speeds up to 100 megs per second, now for just $44.99 a month. And that's not all. You also get a full suite of advanced business services for free. It's just a part of our commitment to redefining what a cable company can be. Call now to get 100 meg Spectrum Business Internet for $44.99 a month.
News 13 is brought to you by Hunters Creek Dental, home of the same-day dentures.
At Leaders Casual Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture and decor. If you can picture it, we can create it. We'll customize your new furniture with the styles and colors to complement your outdoor living space and home. We create quality furniture that lasts. Your furniture is custom finished by local hands at our headquarters in Clearwater. And because it's coming from Florida, we'll be delivering to your home before you know it. Leaders Casual Furniture. Quality that makes it easy to care for. Prices that make it easy to own.
My mom and I were hit head-on by a reckless driver, and we were both seriously injured.
Later that day, I called 4 law firms, and I decided to go with attorney Dan Newland. From the very beginning, Dan and his attorneys were very concerned about our well-being and very dedicated to our case. And at the end, Dan recovered $400,000 for my injury case, and I am very grateful.
And Dan got me $200,000 for my injury case, and I'm very ecstatic.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now at 407-888-8000.
News 13 is the only 24-hour news station in Central Florida. So when you want your news and weather, only News 13 delivers now, exclusively on Spectrum.
World-renowned Dr. Bonati created the Bonati Spine procedures to minimize surgery, scarring, and recovery. 55,000 procedures have resulted in 98.75% satisfaction. Over half our patients suffer from failed surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
The UCF Knights, who moved their game against Memphis to Friday night, ended up canceling it altogether. The teams originally agreed to reschedule their Saturday game because of Hurricane Irma. UCF's next home game is against Georgia Tech, and that's on September 16th. Traffic wasn't as bad as expected on Friday night. One good thing for drivers heading north is that Governor Rick Scott directed FDOT to suspend tolls across the entire state of Florida in preparation for Hurricane Irma. He said they will remain suspended for the duration of the storm's impact here. And if you're wondering why they aren't opening up southbound lanes like they did leading up to Matthew, that's because the southbound lanes are needed to bring supplies to shelters and to people in the southern part of the state. Now, FHP has implemented a limited emergency shoulder use plan for Hurricane Irma evacuations. That's on I-75 at Wildwood to the Georgia state line. Drivers should only use the left shoulder when directed by law enforcement and/or highway signage. No other state roadways are currently approved for shoulder use, just I-75 at Wildwood to the Georgia state line. Now, you can check real-time traffic conditions with the News 13 Plus app. But in all of this, use caution and patience. It will be slow-moving at times. Charter Communications is working to help Floridians stay connected with their loved ones and any emergency services during the storm. All Spectrum Wi-Fi hotspots across the state are open to assist those being impacted by Hurricane Irma. Now, you'll be able to watch a live stream of News 13 during our hurricane coverage. You can head over to our website to find a link for your stream and also for your computer and mobile device. Spectrum is the parent company of News 13.
Very powerful Hurricane Irma continues to be just off to the south of central Florida. It looks like it will be making a turn over the next 12 to 24 hours. We'll have the very latest details on the direction and what you can expect here county by county coming up.
Stay on top.
Orange County, $1 million. Okeechobee County, $3.15 million. We will not be pushed around, and we will fight
for every dollar that you're entitled to. Call us or visit our website, martinezmanglardi.com. We are here to help.
For news and weather at your fingertips, go to mynews13.com. More news, less clutter, exclusively from Spectrum. When you're on the go, the News 13 Plus app is absolutely essential, giving you local news, weather, and traffic in the palm of your hand. Check in with live Storm Tracker 13 radar and get a heads up with personalized safety net alerts so you'll know when severe weather is on the way. Plus, the News 13 Plus app gives you the tools you need to get around the traffic hotspots faster. Best of all, it's absolutely free. The News 13 Plus app, absolutely the best, and exclusively from Spectrum.
Insurance companies would have the public believe that injured people are often motivated just to make a quick buck, that Florida is filled with exaggerated claims. Actually, we've not found that to be true. Our clients want what is fair and just, to be treated with respect. Nobody wants to be injured, to worry about medical bills, their jobs, and well-being. Our attorneys are here to help the injured with knowledge and experience. Bogan Munz & Munz since 1979.
Renninger's Farmers and Flea Market is Central Florida's most unique indoor and outdoor market.
My family and I, we've been coming here for 4 years. We love everything that's here because you can find really good deals.
It's a wonderful place. I can't think of much that you can't find here at Renninger's, from vacuum cleaners to fresh tomatoes, from antiques to collectibles.
We order stuff that the clients want and they keep coming back for because they can't find anywhere else.
It's a place to bring your family.
Don't miss Renninger's Farmers and Flea Market this Saturday and Sunday.
This hurricane season, you've got a powerhouse in your corner. Storm Tracker 13, the most powerful name this hurricane season, exclusively on Spectrum.
Osceola County, $1 million. Pinellas County, $6 million. We will not be pushed around, and we will fight for every dollar that you're entitled to. Call us or visit our website, martinezmanglardi.com. We are here to help.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Jamie Martin, along with Maureen McCann. We are here watching what's going on right now, of course, with Hurricane Irma situated off the tip of Cuba here, the western and the northwestern parts of Cuba right now, getting pretty battered by heavy rain showers. But believe it or not, we're also getting rain here in Florida already.
Yeah, in South Florida, you're looking at the PTZ cam from Port Everglades down by Miami, where they're already seeing rain. Locally, we have some bands of rain as that onshore flow drives in moisture, and this is the type of rain that we can anticipate, these squalls off and on, which would interfere with any preparations if you still have some to do. Right now, the heaviest rainfall is over Seminole County, moving over the St. Johns River to the east of Deltona and Sanford. No lightning showing up now. We did have a little bit earlier, and rain will only increase through tonight and tomorrow as Irma gets closer and moves into the Florida Straits. The 5 a.m. numbers still have this system as a Category 4 storm moving to the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. It's a very large storm in size. Remember, the wind field spans over 400 to 500 miles. Compare that to the width of the Florida Peninsula. The impacts are going to be felt from coast to coast, even though the west coast appears to be seeing the brunt of it based on the latest forecast track, which is a little more westerly. I'll show that coming up. We talk about the right side of the storm where the winds can be the strongest. You also can have isolated tornadoes on that side of the storm. So that is why Central Florida will be facing these hazards based on the track, putting us on the right side of the storm. The center moving over populated areas like Naples, Fort Myers, and up towards the Tampa Bay area. It may weaken a little bit, but not by much. Still a major system by the time it gets to Central Florida. We want you to be prepared. Perhaps your phone already went off and alerted you that there are hurricane warnings posted from coast to coast. They go as far north as Volusia and Sumter and Lake counties. Watches for Flagler and Marion counties. I suspect those will be changed to warnings as the threat gets more imminent. One of the other hazards that we have to monitor is the risk of flooding, both inland and at the coast. The potential within these squalls over the course of the, let's say, 48-hour period today and tomorrow, maybe 5 to 8 inches. And we also run the risk of power outages. This index shows the most likely areas to experience power outages, populated areas of South Florida, the Keys, and Southwest Florida near Fort Myers and Naples. But locally, we have to prepare for this too, among several other hazards, Jamie, in addition to hurricane force winds.
Yep, absolutely, Maureen. It looks like we're going to see those problems across the area. And again, we still have some showers out there. Let me pop this back out again. You see Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar. Look at the heavy rain that's situated just off of Flagler County and also moving into parts of Volusia County right now. Even the metro, we're going to be seeing these showers moving their way through. So again, some pockets of heavy rain, not quite to the metro yet. But again, if you're going to be heading out, trying to get some of those last minute things done, getting your preparations in there. Longwood 724, you can expect a pocket of heavier rain. Winter Spring 718 into Jones Landing at 657. So again, we're still dealing with plenty of showers and storms across the area. And again, the forecast track with the models takes it right on up here into the western parts here of Central Florida. But again, we're in that cone of uncertainty all the way across to the East Coast. So we can't put our guard down at all. In fact, we'll be on that right side, as Maureen said. And that means we have a good chance of seeing some very strong winds, power outages, trees down, things like that, all the way through Sunday night and into Monday. So we're just beginning to see the effects, and it's going to continue as we head through the next couple of days. So don't forget, you can always catch us. And if you don't have the app, you can catch us on the radio if you're out in the car. Again, these are some of our partners here that will be simulcasting our coverage as we continue to watch Irma come through. And again, make sure you have us on somewhere, either on the radio or in the palm of your hand, because you're going to be honest, because we're going to be dealing with some showers and storms and power outages and very gusty winds. Could even see up to 6 to 8 inches of rain, Maureen, and maybe over a foot in some locations. So not only do we have the wind, we've got the rain, we have all the problems also with trees down and power outages.
Yeah, and isolated tornadoes, something that we see with any landfalling tropical system.
And we're on the bad side.
Right, even a distance from the center. And, you know, yesterday we were saying tropical storm force winds about 175 miles out. Now that's up to 195.
Yeah, so it's definitely expanding, and at least its size and intensity, really, even though it dropped from a 5 to a 4, it was only 5-mile-per-hour drop.
Yeah, and we know that even tropical storm force winds can do damage. So there's no such thing as just a Cat 1 or just a Cat 2.
Right, exactly.
All righty, well, we'll be back with another live update at 7:01. Right now, Storm Tracker 13, Doppler radar.
We checked in with the Pulse nightclub downtown, and they took down some of the items to save them from the storm. People have also been bringing items to the nightclub since the mass shooting in June of 2016. The only item left is that barrier that people sign that separates the building from the public. We're continuing our county-by-county coverage right now. Trash will not be collected for those living in unincorporated Orange County on Monday. Those Monday routes will now be collected on Tuesday instead. The Orange County landfill and transfer stations will be closing at 2 p.m. today and will reopen when conditions are safe to do so. Turning now to Marion County, where trash collection is being postponed there as well. Now, people living in Ocala who have regular collection on Monday will now have their garbage picked up on Tuesday. Now, you should be receiving an automated call or text message confirming your collection date. And turning back to Orange County now, where the Mall at Millenia is closed through the weekend. It closed at 2 p.m. on Friday and is planning to reopen once again on Tuesday.
Time now for a look at what's happening in our community, sponsored by Todd Minor Law.
Natural gas dryer works fast, so there's more time for sharing. People's Gas. We're delivering the natural gas that helps you save energy at home. Learn about our energy conservation rebates at peoplesgas.com/home.
Closed captioning is brought to you by New Teeth Now. In only one day, New Teeth Now can change your life with a new smile. We treat patients others turn away.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented the precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect 98.75% patient satisfaction. 55,000 procedures have been performed exclusively at our 2 locations. Over half our patients have suffered from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we want you to eat better and feel better with smoothies made from better-for-you ingredients and food crafted with the bold flavors you love, like our Chipotle Chicken Club flatbread with grilled chicken, bacon, pepper jack, and chipotle mayo, or our Island Green Smoothie with fresh kale and spinach, banana, mango, and pineapple. Life's too good to settle for anything less. Chipotle Chicken Club and Island Green Smoothie at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
My wife and I were out for an early motorcycle ride. We were stopped at a red light when we were hit from behind by a dump truck. My wife was on the ground bleeding. I stayed right with her until the medics arrived to take her to the hospital. The next morning, my wife suggested that we call attorney Dan Newland, and I'm so glad that we did. Dan was a huge help in our case. In the end, he recovered $240,000 for us. That money has been very helpful.
If we ever need a lawyer again, we will definitely call Attorney Dan Newland.
Get weather updates, the latest forecasts, and some spectacular views. Follow the weather experts on Twitter at MyNews13Weather.
A natural gas dryer works fast, so there's more time for sharing. Or